Lots of people travel to the big station at the end of the line. Engines from the other railway sometimes pull their trains. These engines stay the night and go home next day. Gordon was talking one day to one of these. "When I was young and green," he said, "I remember going to London. Do you know the place? The station's called King's Cross." "King's Cross?" snorted the engine. "London's Euston. Everybody knows that." "Rubbish," said Duck. "London's Paddington. I know, I worked there." They argued till they went to sleep. They argued when they woke up. They were still arguing when the other engine went away. "Stupid thing," said Gordon crossly. "I've no patience." "Stupid yourself," said Duck. "London's Paddington. Paddington, do you hear?" "Stop arguing," James broke in. "You make me tired. You're both agreed about something anyway." "What's that?" "London's not Euston," laughed James. "Now shut up." Gordon rolled away, still grumbling. "I'm sure it's King's Cross. I'll go and prove it." But that was easier said than done. London lay beyond the big station at the other end of the line. Gordon had to stop there. Another engine then took his train. "If I didn't stop," he thought, "I could go to London." One day he ran right through the station. Another time he tried to start before the fireman could uncouple the coaches. He tried all sorts of tricks, but it was no good. His driver checked him every time. "Oh dear," he thought sadly, "I'll never get there." One day he pulled the express to the station as usual. His fireman uncoupled the coaches and he ran onto his siding to wait till it was time to go home. The coaches waited and waited at the platform, but their engine didn't come. A porter ran across and spoke to Gordon's driver. "The inspector's on the platform. He wants to see you." The driver came back in a few minutes looking excited. "Hello," said the fireman. "What's happened?" "The engine for the express turned over when it was coming out of the yard. Nothing else can come in or out. They want us to pull the train to London. I said we would if the fat controller agreed. They telephoned and he said we could do it. How's that?" "Fine," said the fireman. "We'll show them what the fat controller's engines can do." "Come on," said Gordon. "Let's go." He rolled quickly over the crossings and backed onto the train. It was only a few minutes before the guard blew his whistle, but Gordon thought it was ages. "Come on, come on," he puffed to the coaches. "Come on, come on, come on. We're going to town, we're going to town," sang the coaches slowly at first, then faster and faster. Gordon found that London was a long way away. "Never mind," he said. "I'd like a good long run to stretch my wheels." But all the same, he was glad when London came in sight. The fat controller came into his office next morning. He looked at the letters on his desk. One had a London postmark. "I wonder how Gordon's getting on," he said. The station master knocked and came in. He looked excited. "Excuse me, sir, have you seen the news?" "Not yet." "Why?" "Just look at this, sir." The fat controller took the newspaper. "Good gracious me," he said. "There's Gordon. Headlines too. Famous engine at London station. Police called to control crowds." The fat controller read on, absorbed. Gordon returned next day. The fat controller spoke to his driver and fireman. "I see you had a good welcome in London." "We certainly did, sir. We signed autographs till our arms ached, and Gordon had his photograph taken from so many directions at once that he didn't know which way to look." "Good," smiled the fat controller. "I expect he enjoyed himself. Didn't you, Gordon?" "No, sir, I didn't." "Why ever not?" "London's all wrong," answered Gordon sadly. "They've changed it. It isn't King's Cross anymore. It's St. Pancras." controller gave Gordon a rest when he came back from London. He told James to do his work. James got very conceited about it. "You know, little Toby," he said, "I'm an important engine now. Everybody knows it. They come in crowds to see me flash by. The heaviest train makes no difference. I'm as regular as clockwork. They all set their watches by me. Never late, always on time. That's me." "Says you," replied Toby cheekily. One day, Toby was out on the main line. The fat controller had sent him to the works. His parts were worn. They clanked as he trundled along. He was enjoying his journey. He was a very little engine, and his tanks didn't hold much water, so he often had to stop for a drink. He had small wheels too, and he couldn't go fast. Never mind, he thought, the signalmen all know me. They'll give me plenty of time. But a new signalman had come to one of the stations. Toby had wanted to take Henrietta, but the fat controller had said no. What would the passengers do without her? He wondered if Henrietta was lonely. Percy had promised to look after her, but Toby couldn't help worrying. "Percy doesn't understand her like I do," he said. He felt thirsty and tired. He had come a long way. He saw a distant signal. Good, he thought. Now I can have a nice drink and rest in a siding till James has gone by. Toby's driver thought so too. They stopped by the water crane. His fireman jumped out and put the hose in his tank. Toby was enjoying his drink when the signalman came up. Toby had never seen him before. "No time for that," said the signalman. "We must clear the road for the express." "Right," said the driver. "We'll wait in the siding." "No good," said the signalman. "It's full of trucks. You'll have to hurry to the next station. They've got plenty of room for you there." Poor Toby clanked sadly away. I must hurry, he panted. But hurrying used a lot of water, and his tanks were soon empty. They damped down his fire and struggled on. But he soon ran out of steam, and stood marooned on the main line, far away from the next station. The fireman walked back. He put detonators on the line to warn James and his driver. Then he hurried along the sleepers. "I'll tell that signalman something," he said grimly. James was fuming when Toby's fireman arrived and explained what had happened. "My fault," said the signalman. "I didn't understand about Toby." "Now, James," said his driver, "you'll have to push him." "What? Me?" snorted James. "Me? Push Toby and pull my train?" "Yes, you." "Shut!" The driver, the fireman, the passengers, and the guard all said he was a bad engine. All right, grumbled James. He came up behind Toby and gave him a bump. "Get on, you," he said crossly. James's driver made him push Toby all the way to the works. "It serves you right for being cross," he said. James had to work very hard, and when he reached the workstation, he felt exhausted. Some little boys were on the platform. "Cool," said one. "The express is late. A double-header, too. Do you know what I think? I think," he went on, "that James couldn't pull the train, so Toby had to help him." "Caw," said James, and blew a great cloud of steam.